I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for the City of Highland Park, Illinois, January 29th, 2024. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ross. Present. Councilmember Hubler.
Present.
Councilmember Tapia.
Present.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Here.
Councilmember Stone. Here. Councilmember Bloomberg.
Here.
Mayor Rotering.
Here, we have a quorum. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am seeking approval of the minutes of the regular City Council meeting held January 16, 2024, and the closed session minutes from January 16, 2024.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. The minutes are approved. I'm seeking a motion to approve the warrant list.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the warrant list? Hearing none, will the clerk call the vote, please?
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Hubler.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stone. Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. The warrant list is approved. Excuse me. Our next item is the report of the mayor. That's me. Tonight, we join the global community in solemnly acknowledging International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which marks the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau on January 27th. This day serves as a reminder of the atrocities that occurred during the Holocaust and is a time to remember the 6 million Jewish victims and millions of other victims of Nazi persecution. Not just on this day, but every day, we hold in our hearts the memories of those who perished, and we honor the resilience of the survivors, many of whom live here in Highland Park or have family here in Highland Park. Their stories serve as reminders, helping to ensure that the world never forgets. And reflecting on the Holocaust, we're faced with the reality that anti-Semitism persists in our world. It's disheartening that as we come together tonight, the global Jewish community continues to live with the constant concern for the safety of their loved ones, over 100 of whom inexplicably continue to be held hostage by terrorists in Gaza. Our community continues to stand united against anti-Semitism. By doing so, we honor the legacies of the victims and the survivors, and we contribute to a world free of hate. We continue to keep those affected in the past and in the present in our hearts, and we work towards a future where we can all live free from fear and discrimination. Continuing on, I have appointments. The City of Highland Park has 18 commissions, boards, and advisory groups with volunteer citizen members who are appointed by the mayor with the City Council's consent. Through the Student Representative Program, high school juniors share their unique insights as they learn about local government operations. We truly have an outstanding group of students joining the program this year, and I'm delighted to recommend one additional student to the class of 2025. That's Ava Heimgartner to the Cultural Arts Advisory Group. So we thank all of our students for their participation, for their unique perspective. This is, again, a program that's open to any student who is a junior in high school, not necessarily at Highland Park High School. And then the seniors also continue on, so they get to mentor these younger students. It's a really neat program, and we had orientation about a week ago, and they were very excited. I have no proclamations. I do want to recognize outgoing commissioners, advisory group members, and board members who completed their terms in 2023, and I want to thank them all, not just for their valuable insights and their contributions, but for their time and their dedication to our community. When I say your name, if you could come up, I will shake your hand, give you a special proclamation, and a very cool poster of the City of Highland Park. So we will start with the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners, Stephen Rockman. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Business and Economic Development Advisory Group, Leslie Lippin is out of town. Katie Wiswald, are you here? And we've got a little something going on here. All right. We will just press on. Cultural Arts Advisory Group, is Alan Lasser here? We thank Alan. Deborah Wachtel also, thank you. Firefighters Pension Board, Maxine Bond, thank you, Maxine. Historic Preservation Commission, William Levy. And also Megan Salamasic. I don't know if Megan is here. Nope, okay. Housing Commission, Chad Birkin. Housing Commission, Brad Dennison. And David Pauster.
Take your poster.
Thank you. Excuse me. Human Relations Advisory Group, Matt Pestine. Thank you. Land and Design Commission, Trip Haynesfurther. I don't know if Trip is here. It appears not. And Michael Quinlan. Police Pension Board, Mark Romo. Don't think Mark has joined us this evening. Sustainability Advisory Group, the infamous Dan Lacoste. Finance Officers Association, the GFOA, has recognized the City of Highland Park Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the city's 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. The report has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. I gotta say, it's a great report. If you ever not if you have trouble sleeping, but it's it's a really great narrative by an unbelievable department within the city. So with that, we'd like to recognize City Manager Gita Newkirk. Yep. Finance Director Julie Logan. The Finance Department staff. And all department directors for this outstanding achievement. And we really do encourage everyone to visit cityhpil.com/budget to view the 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. It's a great read. Okay, every year, this is so cool. The community comes together to support a deserving charity at a number of fun events coordinated by Highland Park High School students as part of the annual HPHS Charity Drive. Tonight, we are delighted to welcome two students. We'll ask you to come over to the podium, Mia Evans and Olivia Gordon, to share more about this year's schedule of events and designated charity. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Elizabeth. Cancer Wellness Center is also having an adult-only event at the Broken Tree Brewing Company on Friday, February 9th, 2024. The Charity Drive calendar with all of our events can be found on our website, hpcharitydrive.org. All of our events bring together the Highland Park community for an incredible cause. This year, we are very excited to come together to raise money and awareness for the Cancer Wellness Center.
The Cancer Wellness Center helps improve the emotional and physical well-being of people affected by cancer. It serves as a holistic resource offering a range of services to address the physical, emotional, and psychological aspects of the cancer journey. They provide educational programs, counseling, and wellness activities to help patients and their families navigate the challenges associated with cancer diagnosis and treatment. The Cancer Wellness Center provides evidence-based programs and services designed to educate participants. The Cancer Wellness Center has developed their coping strategies and strengthened their support network. By fostering a supportive community and offering various resources, the Cancer Wellness Center aims to enhance the overall well-being and quality of life for not only those affected by cancer, but their family members and friends too. All their programs are completely free of charge. Please go to hpcharitydrive.org to find out more information on upcoming events such as Silent Auction, Sports Day, and our fave of all, Takeout Tuesday.
Great. Thank you. And I'll just repeat, visit hpcharitydrive.org to see the full schedule of events, to learn more about Cancer Wellness Center. The amount of work that the students put into Charity Drive is mind-blowing, and they do an incredible job raising funds for important charities. Thanks for coming by. Thank you. At this point, we will move now to business from the council, and I'd like to invite Councilmember Bloomberg to share a report on behalf of the Housing Commission as he serves as the Commission's council liaison.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to present a report on behalf of the Housing Commission, where I serve as the liaison. The commission is chaired by Isis Fernandez-Sykes, and the staff liaison is Senior Planner Radhi Akash. The Housing Commission was created in 1973 to encourage and engage in the development of low and moderate income housing. Commissioners serve on the board of 3 affordable housing associations overseeing the operations of city-owned rental housing developments. The commission administers the city's Housing Trust Fund and its affordable housing grant-making program. The purpose of this fund is to provide financial resources to address the affordable housing needs of low and moderate income households by promoting, preserving, and producing long-term affordable housing units. The Housing Trust Fund provides resources for the city's affordable housing grant program, grants for the city's affordable housing scattered site program, operating support for the city's community land trust, funds personnel engaged in program administration. Also, the inclusion of affordable housing units within the market rate developments pursuant to Chapter 150 of the City Code. The city also partners with Community Partners for Affordable Housing, CEPA, for the following: administration of tenant eligibility verification for privately owned inclusionary housing units, the maintenance of waiting lists for those units, the technical assistance provided, which serves as the city's community land trust. Since 2003, the city's affordable housing program has provided grants through its scattered site program that have resulted in the development of 74 privately owned affordable units. The Housing Commission also operates, and the city-owned, the Housing Commission also operates, and the city owned 99 rental housing units in 3 affordable housing developments owned by 3 separate not-for-profit housing associations with their bylaws. Pierce Housing Association, 68 units, Ravinia Housing Association, 17 units, and the Sunset Woods Housing Association, which has 14 units. Following are a few projects planned for 2024. Review and renew property management contract service agreements for Evergreen Management Company overseeing Piers and Ravinia. Address repairs needs and opportunities to make permanently affordable units that have expiring affordability restrictions. There are 4 in 2029. And update the 5-year strategic plan pursuant to the Affordable Housing Planning and Appeal Act. The plan documents all the local affordable housing stock, incentives that local governments may provide, description of the market rate conditions, and much more. And also thank you to the 3 outgoing commissioners who joined us this evening. Guys did a great job.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Any
Thanks.
questions for Councilmember Bloomberg? No. Thank you. Thank you. Continuing on with our agenda for this evening, do we have business from city staff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There are 11 items recommended for approval on the omnibus agenda. Item number 3, staff recommends a subscription software agreement with CDW, a reseller of CrowdStrike cloud-delivered endpoint protection. Exhibit A, which is the terms and conditions, was initially omitted from the packet. It is provided on the dais, and it has been reviewed by Corporation Counsel and our staff, and we are recommending approval. And then second, included in the packet are the 2024 major projects. If we can go to the next slide. So for public information, the city compiles a work plan each calendar year, which is our fiscal year, to identify major projects, which are essentially initiatives that are outside of our day-to-day operation, or they could be significant public-facing initiatives or just notable internal projects. We have 120 major projects as part of that work plan for 2024. And interestingly enough, that is the same exact number that we had in 23, although we did not plan that. The major projects align with the 5 priorities that are guiding the city. And of course, they align with the city's mission, which unites our entire organization. These major projects were identified based on council feedback, staff feedback, as well as public feedback. They're organized by department, so you can see who the staff lead is, the specific initiative that's planned to be undertaken, associated time frame of when it will be undertaken, and we'll continue to provide quarterly updates as we progress throughout the year. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? It's an impressive list. Godspeed. All right, our next item is business from the public. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on a topic that is within the council's purview and jurisdiction, but is not listed in another location on the agenda. If you would like to speak about a matter that is listed on the agenda, we ask that you wait until that agenda item is called, and we will give you an opportunity to speak then. If your matter is on the omnibus consent agenda, please let us know, excuse me, if you would like us to remove that matter from the consolidated list so you can speak about it. Please be aware that business from the public is not intended to be a forum for open dialogue or engagement with members of the City Council. Rather, it's intended as an opportunity to make comments to the City Council. Please do not expect a response from anyone tonight. If appropriate, we may direct the city manager or other city staff to respond to questions or issues raised at a later date. All comments should be directed up here to the City Council. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. We request that the public not applaud or make other comments after any speaker. We ask that everybody be respectful, civil, and non-repetitive. Thank you. And please state your name for the record.
My name is Carl Lambrecht. I'm a citizen of Highland Park since 1970. What I'm going to talk about is what happened between Planned Parenthood and the University of Pittsburgh. 2 years ago, it was found out that a baby's head was scalped and placed on a rat so that they could see if the hair would grow. The hair grew. The baby's dead. Now I flash back to the time period you were talking about, the Second World War. We had an experimenter who was called Mengele. He chose twins, identical twins, and he did experiments on one and then tried to compare something between him, the one and the other. After the Second World War, he fled to Argentina. He was followed by the Jewish secret police, I believe it's called Mossad, and he went from country to country, just staying one step ahead of them, killing babies by what we call abortion. Cruel, painful death of abortion, and incidentally also illegal in all those countries. This is something that shouldn't happen here or there. These are government experiments that we've done in this country. This should not happen. Thank you.
So I will reiterate that business from the public is to be on a topic that is within the council's purview and jurisdiction, and this is not intended to be a forum for open dialogue. Are there any future other speakers, business from the public, who wish to be heard? Hi, please state your name.
My name is Bart Fox. I'm a Highland Park resident. I'm here to ask for consideration to review and potentially improve the policy for Highland Park as it pertains to snow removal on city sidewalks. I am a walker. I walk a lot. I love to bundle up in all sorts of weather, walk public streets in the Botanic Garden. I've noticed over the years that the city sidewalks are not cleared very often. I've never known what the policy was. I also walk from Highland Park into Glencoe or Highland Park into Deerfield, and I've noticed many times that the sidewalks are not passable. They're treacherous in Highland Park and dangerous, and I get across the border into the surrounding suburbs, and they're regularly plowed. So I investigated a little bit to see what Highland Park's policy is compared to the others. Highland Park, I believe it's 4 inches of a single snow, and the other surrounding suburbs, Glencoe, Deerfield, Lake Forest, it's in the range of 2 inches before they go out and clear. Is that a big deal? Well, when the snow plows plow the streets, they also plow it onto the sidewalk. So it's not 4 inches, it's much more. And it's really dangerous, it's impassable. Many times I have to get off of the sidewalk on Lake Cook Road and walk in the street because that's the only way to get across the bridge. And so I just ask that it be considered. We love to get outside. A lot of people in the community like to get outside. And I think that we are not fostering that in Highland Park. We're not making it easy for people in all sorts of weather to get outside. I don't know how to go about getting it changed, but I ask for your consideration.
Thank you. And City Manager, I don't know if you want to follow up, or we have the Director of Public Works here. If you want to maybe speak outside and kind of get more information, we can certainly look at it when we are once again considering our snow removal, like in August, but yeah.
Oh, I know, I certainly understand that it's not a today thing.
But we appreciate
and
you
there's
raising
financial
it.
considerations and staffing considerations, but it is dangerous for those of us that like to get outside.
Great. Thank you for bringing
Thank you.
that to our attention.
Mayor, we can certainly review it, and Mr. Fox, our Director of Public Works, if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with him, you can certainly talk in a moment. Just for public information also, we do hand shovel out the sidewalks in certain key areas. So for example, in the downtown districts, the metro station, so high profile, high pedestrian areas are addressed at every snowfall. But as you noted, our policy is after a 4-inch snowfall is when we do all 130 miles of sidewalk throughout the
And
community.
I do believe, like, if there's a 3-inch snow and then another 3-inch snow, that doesn't get the sidewalks. It's got to be a single snow. Yeah. So it can pack on and pack on and pack on until it's up here, and that still wouldn't get plowed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to be heard during business from the public? If not, we will continue on. Items 1 through 11 have been grouped together. Whoops. Oh, come on up. You bet. I know our new seating configuration kind of hems you in over there.
Mark Portman, University Avenue, Highland Park, and I'm definitely going to follow that gentleman because he's worried about the condition of the sidewalks. And here we are talking about adding more sidewalks. So it kind of comes at it took me by surprise, frankly. I did not anticipate that somebody would be coming in and talking about the condition of the sidewalks. So having already used up 15 minutes of my time, I'm going to just cut to the chase on a couple of things. I just wanted to share my thoughts on a few common misconceptions and some suggestions that I have to overcome and or deal with those misconceptions. There are many, however, these are the worst. Number one, University and Old Trail are narrow and therefore dangerous streets. So the first question is, are they narrow? Well, they're not anymore. No, the answer is no. They're 19 feet wide streets, and they're the exact same width as all of the other streets in the Highlands, except for the one designated road, which is Kren and Summit, which is a 27-foot wide street with existing sidewalks, with close proximity to University. Secondly, is there excessive speeding on these two streets? Well, in July of 23, the city conducted a speed analysis traffic study which debunks the excessive speeding claim and confirms traffic studies on these two streets in prior years. Nevertheless, University Avenue is unique in that its western boundary is Old Elm Golf Club. So all westbound traffic which terminates at University gives motorists and bicyclists an 0.8 of a mile runway without any traffic calming measures. And it's well known that motorists and bicycles go out of their way to get to University because they know they have the 0.8 of a mile runway. Ironically, it seems the one thing where the sidewalk opposing forces find common ground, for and against, find common ground is that they know they have an 0.8, is that they believe in finding, they find common ground in the need for traffic calming measures on University. If the city won't install stop signs or take other traffic calming measures due to conclusions from traffic studies, then the city should just push back against those who claim we need sidewalks for safety reasons because safe alternatives already exist. But the most egregious misconception is that only a few trees are at risk. This common misconception stems from the 2019 University Sidewalk Engineering Study, and that study report was never evaluated by the Forestry Department. The engineers ignored the drip line factors, and they only considered a tree at risk if it was directly within the absolute proposed sidewalk width. I've only got 18 seconds, so I'll just cut right to the chase. I've performed my, I really think that the city needs to engage its forestry department now. I don't understand why they're waiting. Do an evaluation. You can do a preliminary assessment. You don't need to have an engineering plan in order to do that. I've done my own risk assessment, and spoiler alert, it's not pretty. And I plan on sharing that information with each of you by email tonight. So I'll send that, not tonight, I'll send that to you tomorrow, and I welcome you to prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, I will say I'll admit that I'm wrong. So I encourage everybody to take a look at that data, and thank you for the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else, business from the public, wanting to be heard? Okay, with that, I am seeking a motion to approve items 1 through 11. I do have a quick question on item 5 myself. This is the resolution authorizing the city manager to install and enforce signs prohibiting parking in Red Oak Terrace cul-de-sac, prohibiting parking on school days from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and from 3 to 4. I had asked the question previously, has somebody talked to Ravinia Nursery School, and are we helping them come up with some sort of plan? Because we know these parents can't just wait for Junior to show up. They're little tiny people, so they have to go in and get them and park their cars somewhere, and you've got conflicts from Sherwood and Red Oak and True North schools all converging on that same corner. So what have we done to work with
Yes,
Ravinia?
we have been in communication with them, and we are coordinating with them on their traffic management plan. Yeah, police department is doing that. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
They are aware of this action for consideration as well.
They are,
Yeah.
okay. Councilmember Stone.
Yeah, I just had comments on 2 of the items. Item 6, which is the agreement with Pace, it's a 6-month agreement to continue our agreement, basically to extend it 6 months. And I want to just make sure I know on the work plan is a study of transit options that the city is undertaking. This should add urgency to that study. Hopefully it will be done before this agreement is up, because we're going to need to figure out where to go if we can't extend it further. And I also had a quick comment on number 8 to Director Bannon. thank you for finding an electric option that's going to meet the needs of the water division. I think this vehicle will save us money over its lifetime, and I'm really pleased we're adding it to the fleet.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Tapia.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to pull items 2 and 12 for discussion.
Well, it's not on the
12 is other business, it's not on omnibus, so
Oh,
I can guarantee you conversation on 12, but we will now do 2 as well.
all right.
Anybody else? Yes.
I just have a comment on number 1,
Okay,
but I don't want to pull it.
okay, so what's your comment?
This is in respect to Lot 3. I'm in agreement that we should vote to eliminate the termination agreement to help the Park District make this plan go forward. I think it's a good thing for our city. That said, I'm not happy with the lease agreement between the Park District and the city, where the city continues to pay half the cost on major items and to date have not gotten any revenue in return. I think the Park District needs to fund its own projects, and I look forward to renegotiating the lease with the Park District as they agreed to do.
Thank you. Appreciate those comments. Anybody else? Okay, with that, I'm seeking a motion to approve items 1 and 3 through 11.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Will the clerk please call the vote? Oh, I should ask, any members of the public want to comment on items 1 or 3 through 11? Nope. Okay.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Hubler.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stone.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye. 7 ayes, no nays. Items 1, 3 through 11 have been approved. Item 2, an ordinance amending the Highland Park City Code of 1968 as amended to regulate certain products containing THC. How do you want to proceed? Or maybe I'll have those who have pulled this state their reason for pulling.
Yeah, so I'd like to read a statement here. This is a very complex issue with not an easy answer, but I think there's some nuances here that I wish that we had addressed more fully, and here's my explanation. You know, there are some paradoxes here. There's the need to protect our youth. There's also the issues of public health, and then there's the issues of adult personal choice. In terms of protecting our youth, I think this is a clear-cut issue that, you know, we want to protect them from mood-altering substances, especially since they're not of age, and we have to do what we do, like banning the sale and the use and the possession of these THC and other forms of mood-altering drugs. So I think that needs to be addressed. But in terms of public health, I know the argument for the ban for everybody has been made on the basis of public health, but I feel that the studies are inconclusive. There are some worrisome issues that have been reported, you know, but when we look at the numbers do not speak to an epidemic or a pre-epidemic type of volume. So between December 1 of 2020 and February 28, 22, there were 104 reports of adverse effects on patients because of Delta 8 THC. And then of these, 55% required medical interventions. And then, according to the National Poison Control Centers, they had 2,362 cases of exposure to Delta 8 THC between January 1, 2021 and February 28, 2022. And in one of those cases did result in a death. So the roughly 2,500 recorded cases of Delta 8 during this time period, as worrisome as that is off a denominator of 330 million Americans. Which is a minuscule number. And then if you add those affected by Delta 9 and 10, and those have not been reported, we can presume that those numbers will be comparable, still not adding to some, you know, statistically significant worrisome number. Now compare this to Tylenol overdose. In the US, it is responsible for 56,000 emergency department visits, 2,600 hospitalizations, and 500 deaths per year. So clearly, there is risk with Tylenol and overdose as there is with other substances. And currently, there is not agreement among health professionals about the risk of these drugs. Some feel it's very strongly a risk, but others don't feel it as much. So this brings us then to the issue of personal adult choice. And this is a philosophical point of view in evaluating this ordinance in front of us. In a world with all kinds of risks that we actually allow adults to make decisions on, such as when the doctor gives us a prescription and then always warns us of all the possible side effects, we as adults do a cost-benefit analysis about whether we're willing to take the risk or not. So who are we to say that those who feel they're helped by THC products with their migraines, with their sleeplessness, with their anxiety. These things are not good for them. I think these are, very debilitating conditions that I think if people can find relief from in a way that does not harm other people, I think we should not be taking away that freedom from them. So that brings me to looking at this ordinance. The ordinance has different components. One component is the forbidding the sale overall, but in particularly the use and the possession of THC products for those under 21. I agree with that wholeheartedly for all the reasons stated. But it goes further to prohibit the sale, but not the possession and not the use of those over, 21 and over. But I think we're overreaching in terms of prohibiting the sale to adults who are, adult consenting adults who can weigh the cost benefits of the use of these substances to see if it's worth relieving some conditions that they are afflicted with. So in terms of managing the nuances in a paradox, I would have liked to seen us prohibit, as is in the ordinance, the sale of these products to those under 21 and prohibit the possession and use of those under 21, but not give that prohibition in terms of the sale to adults in our community.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. What was our vote on the ban of sale of illicit THC at smoke shops? Do we remember if that was
We can look it up.
7-0 or 4-3 or 2-5? Or at the very least, we've already passed an ordinance. This council has passed an ordinance banning the sale of illicit THC items at licensed smoke shops. So this now was a conversation about bringing in maybe a handful of other businesses that, like gas stations and other sort of non-smoke shop related entities that are selling illicit THC in our community. So that was one of the reasons why. I believe also we have discussed this 3 times, 4 times? I don't remember how many times we talked about this committee the whole several times. Obviously, we talked about it from the dais when we passed that ordinance banning the sale of illicit THC by licensed smoke shops. Councilmember Tapia, I appreciate your pro-business approach. I truly do. But I got to say, I don't understand how we're here once again having the same conversation for the 4th time. I'm going to leave it at that for the moment and ask Councilmember Stone and then Councilmember Bloomberg to follow on. I might have some more comments. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. I want to make a couple of points. Looking at my Got Science sticker here on my computer. Tylenol versus THC, with all respect to your research, I just don't think this is comparable. The number of people using Tylenol is far higher than the number of people using these illicit THC products. The FDA regulates drugs and other products. They do not regulate these particular THC products. This is the role of government, is to protect people. These unregulated THC products have no proven health benefits. For people with various conditions that you mentioned or other conditions, they should use regulated, scientifically tested substances. They should see their physician and find out what substances will help with their conditions rather than going to snake oil, unregulated products that could harm them. So I am in favor of extending this ban to these additional shops.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Mayor.
you. I did want to follow up on that and just say that we did receive emails and actually oral testimony from addiction specialists asking us to follow through with this, stating their concern. To add the part that I wanted to also add, I've spoken to several members of the Illinois General Assembly, including the Speaker of the House, and they have urged municipalities to pass these laws as they endeavor to get these laws passed on a statewide basis. Councilmember Hubler?
So first, I agree with Councilmember Tapia that I do not think the city council should be in the business of policing what adults put in their bodies. That said, there is serious interest, and it has been passed, as the mayor has stated. So I have done even more research on this, and what I have found, frankly, is not in tune with what I believe we as a city council are being told. In fact, some of these so-called illicit drugs are tested and are regulated. Delta 9 is tested and regulated. It is insured, there's a COA on it. In fact, the reason I know this, and I'm not saying all of them, but Delta 9 is tested. The Illinois Brewers Guild, where I happen to be a member of, has recently come out with a bunch of information on Delta 9 nano-infused products. And they are now pushing breweries to make this product. It is a legal product. It is a tested product. It is a regulated product. So we need to do our research, and we clearly have not. These products are being sold, Benny sells them, and they are regulated. So this is a board in the state of Illinois who is providing this information to all the breweries in Illinois. And there are products on there that are apparently legal. And not only that, in our ordinance, we have an interesting thing in there, which is for this particular Delta 9, we have 2.5 milligrams of concentration per individual package. And apparently, so what the Illinois Brewers Guild is recommending is 5 milligrams is roughly the equivalent of beer in an infused, nano-infused product, and 10 milligrams is roughly the equivalent of a glass of wine. So people who maybe have medical conditions and can't drink, but would like to go to a restaurant and get one of these beverages, they can do that in other communities now, because distributors such as my distributor I use now is distributing these products, and they are regulated. And it's regulated on the Farm Bill, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I took the time to actually do some research versus just, hey, they're unregulated, they're illicit. It's not true. And so for us to even vote on this tonight for adults, I think is a mistake. And if we do go forward with this, I think we should really consider where the 2.5 came from. Because if it's 2.5 versus 5, and you have two of them, and that's the equivalent of a beer, why is that okay? And there are products out there. One of them that was referred to me was this brand called Happy, which sells a 2.5 milligram infused product, which means places in Highland Park could sell that, but they couldn't sell the 5 milligram version. And I just feel like we haven't done any research on this. This is the first I was hearing from it. And I don't think anybody on this board has heard about this. So for us to say that we understand this and we should be regulating what adults are putting in their body, and every restaurant who has a liquor license and goes through distributors like Glenn's Distribution can be buying this stuff in Deerfield and all the other places around here, but we can't do it here. And I think we're just rushing to do this to make a statement. I know I'm rushing to do this for kids. I think we need to stop this for anyone 21 and under. Possession, it should be treated like alcohol. All the other things on there, I fully admit I have not taken the time to look into Kratom and the differences between Delta 8 and Delta 9 and Delta 10 and all these other things, but I can tell you this is apparently a regulated product.
Thank you for your comments, Councilmember Hubler. It's unfortunate that you have not had the opportunity to do the research that several of us have taken the time, have spent the last many months researching this. And specifically, Delta 9, to a large extent, is not included in this because it is currently regulated under the Illinois Cannabinoid Act, or whatever the rules are regarding having a dispensary in a city, having legal, recreational, and medicinal use of Delta 9. That is what marijuana is. This talks about not having certain things above a certain concentration, and that is for the same effects and the same reasons as the other concerns that we have. So you are correct in your statement in terms of what's regulated and what's not regulated. You're incorrect in your statement in terms of people not taking the time to research what it is that we're trying to regulate, what it is that we're trying to protect our children from. So I appreciate your comments, but I just wanted to share with you that in that regard, you do not speak for this entire council.
Why are we referring to everything?
I'm so sorry. Councilmember Bloomberg is next. And then, I'm sorry, Councilmember Littlewer and then Councilmember Bloomberg.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So first of all, I would really like to see this ordinance divided so that we could vote tonight for a complete ban for those 21 and younger. And I would very much like to do that for this community and in this community. I actually applaud my fellow council members and staff for doing a lot of individual research and for checking into it, because it is truly a concern for us. And now I'm speaking for those over 21 and bans in general. My problem with this is more philosophical in the sense that I think there are new products coming out all the time. I think these things change over time. I think that there are other state and federal agencies that have better resources. So not only do they research it, but that's what they do full-time and regulate, therefore, some substances. And so what I would like to see tonight, so we can have some progress, is that we pass a ban for those 21 and younger. And I am not in favor at this point, because there seems to be so many different sides to various substances and new substances coming out all the time. Various amounts, what's equivalent to a glass of wine, what's equivalent to something that we are telling our adults that they cannot purchase here in Highland Park, but they can drive across the street and buy in another community.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
Ultimately, it comes down to regulating something that I'm satisfied we've had plenty of information and we've all had an opportunity to research. We've had sufficient information to identify that this is potentially dangerous. My preference is to err on the side of safety. And for that reason, I'm going to move that we approve this as it stands.
Second.
So Councilmember Stone and then Councilmember Ross.
I was going to say what Councilmember Bloomberg just said.
Okay, Councilmember Ross, you're up.
I appreciate that there are those on this council and in our community and even in the audience that feel differently than I do about this. I have said before that the drugs coming out are a moving target. I would like to see us get ahead of it. I support the ban, as I've already indicated in Committee of the Whole. I have great respect for the hard work day in, day out of community, the anti-drug, who has continues to monitor these drugs, and they recommend that we pass the ban. I too have heard elected officials statewide support a ban, and I'm willing to support our city being a leader in Highland Park, as I feel I have enough information right now to support this. I've said before, I consider this a public health issue, and I feel we have an opportunity to take a stand on it. And if it is a danger to 21-year-olds, it is a concern to me for adults as well. And as I said, I support it.
Thank you. With that, we have a motion. We have a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Ross?
Is there anybody from the public who wishes to be heard on this issue? Sorry. No, appreciate it, Annette. Thank you. That's how we roll. Hi, thank you.
I'm Michael Buss, Highland Park resident, and I just wanted to talk about some of the issues that I have with this. I appreciate all of your comments and would admit confusion about the statement that these ingredients cause concern for the general public health. I would challenge anyone to find a study that suggests that THC is more harmful than alcohol on an individual's health, not Tylenol, alcohol. The cost to a community in terms of public health, enforcement, and fiscal impact on society at large. I am more confused by the statement that some of these retailers are near schools. Part of the reason drugs and alcohol are regulated is to keep them out of the hands of minors. And proximity to a school argument seems nonsensical. If these businesses already sell regulated substances, I guess in short, I would say neither of those arguments hold any water because alcohol is already sold in the city. And to me, it seems the points mentioned contradict themselves, but I leave that to your consideration. And as somebody who has given up alcohol for health reasons, as we've mentioned, it is something that I do ask the bartender or the server at the restaurant if they have THC beverages, because as mentioned up here, usually these are about the equivalent of a beer. And if I'm at a concert or if I'm at dinner or if I'm at a gathering with friends and spending time, I'm more inclined to stay there, spend more time, spend more money, and not order a hot tea and go home and go to bed. So, you know, it just seems to me to make sense, you know, from a business standpoint, and also respecting the decisions of the adults that you're talking about. If, you know, if you're not a minor and you want to choose to partake in these beverages, then, you know, what's next? I mean, we can talk about, you know, sodas and things like that. I think they tried that in New York once, right? So that's all I have to say about that. But I think it's a terrible decision to ban these, and, you know, we can go to Highwood or Evanston.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public? Councilmember Hubler.
Before we vote, I would like to propose an amendment to raise the limit to at least 5 milligrams for the Delta 9 THC. So at least some offerings could be made in Highland Park, or more offerings than would be available at 2.5.
The mover or seconder have any
second.
interest? No, it's the original motion and second are on the table, and the original mover and seconder are indicating they're not interested. Okay. Even though there's a motion on the table. Got it. So you moved.
He moved. I
He
seconded.
moved. You moved, you seconded. Okay, will the clerk call the vote?
Councilmember Ross,
Abstain, because I actually, can you explain it better, what the,
Yes, in the ordinance, there is a limit on the Delta 9 THC to 2.5 milligrams, and I would like to amend that to be 5 milligrams.
okay.
Yeah, make the 2.55. So double the allowable limit for that particular product, which
Okay,
again
so-
is regulated in the state of Illinois.
I'm not abstaining, I'm saying, I'm sticking with the original, nay, yeah.
So she's a nay. Okay.
Councilmember Hubler,
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia,
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer,
Aye.
Councilmember Stone,
Nay.
Councilmember Bloomberg,
No.
Mayor Rotering.
No, the motion fails. So now we are back to the original. Will the clerk call the vote?
Councilmember Ross,
Aye.
Councilmember Hubler,
I am definitely in favor of 21 and over, but because of the, or 21 and under being regulated and including possession, but I am going to vote no because I do not believe we should be limiting what our adult voting public can put in their body like this.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yeah, as I stated earlier, I'm conflicted about the competing needs here, but given what I put out there, I'm going to vote no as well.
Councilmember Littlewer,
I'm disappointed because I'd like to vote yes because of under 21, but if I can't, then I have to vote no.
Councilmember Stone,
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye. 4 ayes, 3 nays. Item number 2 is approved, as originally drafted. Thank you. Item 12 is a resolution approving an economic incentive agreement with Danucci's, or is it now with Ballyhoo? Both. Both Ballyhoo and Danucci's Italian HP LLC. Do we need
If
a
I could just-
presentation?
If I could just give a quick overview, and we're happy to go into as much detail as
Okay,
you'd like.
thank you.
We are recommending that the council approve an economic incentive with Ballyhoo Hospitality as the restaurant manager, and also Danucci's Italian HP as the tenant. The amended agreement was distributed to the city council today, and you received both the track changes as well as a clean copy. This has been reviewed with the Ballyhoo team as well as Corporation Council. It is recommended for approval. Just very briefly, in terms of background, certainly as the council knows, the city has a very comprehensive, thoughtful, aggressive, and action-oriented business development strategic plan. And part of that strategic plan, we identify opportunities and incentives to retain and attract businesses, to energize our tax base, and to enhance the overall quality of life in Highland Park through specific business-related initiatives. The state provides communities with a toolbox of incentives for business attraction and business retention, and we do assess those, take advantage of those. And then Highland Park has very specialized local incentives as well that have been reviewed and enhanced and modified over the years in order to best serve our business community, all of our guests, and the community at large. This concept of a boutique incentive initiative was presented at a committee of the whole meeting on August 21st, and the majority of council supported the incentive. It has since been included in our budget, and we have been working on a strategic effort to attract specific businesses that we want in our community, their main commercial districts and the community at large. These incentive packages also place a spotlight on communities, reinforcing them as a place to do business, and Highland Park is certainly a place to do business. And finally, this initiative is consistent with the city's commitment to economic development, which the council has identified as one of our top priorities. If we go to the next slide. Okay, well, in one moment. So the eligibility criteria, which we discussed at the committee of the whole meeting, is listed there. I won't go through this in detail, certainly unless the council is interested, but certainly the Ballyhoo meets all of these criterias. The specific proposal for consideration this evening is a $1.5 million grant with direct funding only to the operator for the renovation of 1850 2nd Street, which is in Renaissance Place. There's no loan component to the economic incentive agreement, and the estimated project costs overall are $2.3 million. Ballyhoo is committed to taking on the remaining costs to carry out their business plan, and the Tabini Group, who is the property owner for Renaissance, is not seeking a financial incentive. They are, in fact, though, investing into this business endeavor through the terms and conditions of their lease. The proposed build-out for the restaurant is anticipated to be done hopefully in late fall, but certainly by the end of this calendar year. And then two just key elements of the agreement that we just want to make sure to bring to your attention is, again, the agreement has been updated based on the agreement that's in the packet. So the proposed incentive is with Ballyhoo Hospitality as the parent company, and then DiNucci's HP is also listed. That would be the business concept. That was recommended by a number of officials and was, again, supported by the team. And then under eligible expenses, the city manager may approve additional appropriate expenditures. The original draft had not more than 15%, and that was changed to 10%. And again, that's just to identify any unanticipated costs and to give us flexibility just to expedite with the renovation costs that they're undertaking. Included in the packet are a couple of concepts, and certainly the Ballyhoo team can present those, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, appreciate it. Did anybody want to come talk, or? Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hi, I'm Brianne. As mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Project Development for Ballyhoo, and we have Brendan with us as well. He's our CMO. We're really excited about the prospect of joining the Highland Park community. If anybody knows anything about Ballyhoo, we definitely seek to be a part of communities like this. Neighborhood restaurants is where we have really found our sweet spot and thrived in a lot of other communities. We have several restaurants in the city, very neighborhood as well. But we also have in the past few years expanded to the North Shore and have had a lot of great luck with Wilmette, Winnetka, Lake Forest recently, and we're really excited about the prospect of coming to Highland Park.
Wonderful.
Couple things in this is pretty rough, but mostly just wanted to show for those of you familiar with this space, how we want to reinvigorate that space and activate that area, draw attention to it. They obviously have the large covered patio, which you'll see we are intending on keeping that portion. However, the bar on the front side, we think the covering, we'd like to keep an awning that draws attention, but the covering that is there currently, we would like to remove to draw a little bit more attention to that space, bring a little bit more charm to that corner, because it does get lost as the restaurant that was there previously. And we're also proposing to shift the main door. It seems a little bit confusing with entering the theater versus the restaurant right now. So again, just looking to kind of liven up that corner and really draw attention to drawing you into the new restaurant space. We would obviously look into landscaping, planters, all the things to really beautify that corner, and then proposing a little bit of a change inside in that we do want to reposition the bar just to activate the restaurant space itself, really bring a lively atmosphere, and then you kind of from there go into the main dining area. So internally, it's mostly cosmetic, with the biggest aspect being the relocation of the bar. And the door.
Great. Wonderful. Did you want to say anything?
Really, I mean, we're just thrilled to be here and be part of the community. I think, as Brianne mentioned, our core ethos is really to be a part of neighborhoods, to activate them, to be a part of everything that the students talked about today on Takeout Tuesday, and to really just connect with those residents and
Wonderful. Great. Any comments or questions? Councilmember Littlewer, then Bloomberg.
Well, I just want to thank staff very much, because I was the one who asked that, or I was really a little praised, and very happy that the entire corporation, parent, child, whatever, is involved in this and guaranteeing it. So thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. We're very excited about welcoming you to our community, and I think that our residents are really excited about the fact that, I mean, the buzz is out there, even though it really wasn't supposed to be, that we're very excited that y'all are coming here too.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Councilmember Bloomberg.
I join in welcoming you to Highland Park. I hope everything goes great for you. That area needs a boost. I know you're very excited about it. I think that the City Council in open session and Committee of the Whole expressed as a majority a direction that they wanted to go, and I think staff has done a great job working with you. Everybody's worked very hard on this. It may surprise you, but I'm going to vote against this proposal. I'm sure you've been advised that some of us are not in support of the proposal, and I want to be very clear. I'm in support of you and your organization and what you're going to do for us as a city. My vote has more to do with my feeling about the role of municipal government and what we should and shouldn't be doing in terms of promoting business. I support business. I think there are certain things we should do and do. This, for me, feels beyond that in terms of the scope. It has nothing to do with my feeling about your likely success, which I know is going to be great. So thank you for being here and being interested in Highland Park.
Thank you. Councilmember Tapia.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really excited about Ballyhoo opening up one of the prestige restaurants here in Highland Park. I believe that philosophically, the City of Highland Park has a fiduciary responsibility for the effective and responsible management of the taxpayers' money. And one way to do this is through financial responsibility that entails carefully crafted, balanced budget, managed responsibly through effective financial controls and smart and expert cost management and good choices. And it's about how we manage our spend to meet our infrastructure, public safety, and many other needs. Another way in which we manage taxpayer money is by thinking about making smart investments that bring about a return on investment for the city. That happens with traditional fund investment management that we do with our funds, but also investments to attract and retain attractive businesses like Ballyhoo. And so by judiciously seeking ways to make investments that will bring a return to the city, to increase tax revenues, attractiveness to our cityscape and streetscape, and community vibrancy, Ballyhoo and this kind of use the taxpayer money is exceptionally justified. This is one of the choices we're making. They have chosen to link their brand and reputation on Highland Park's brand and reputation for the mutual success and benefit of their business as well as our residents and our visitors in our city. So for this reason, I enthusiastically support.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Stone.
Thanks. I appreciate you and your vision and welcome you to Highland Park. While I want your business and all of our businesses to succeed for similar reasons to what Councilmember Bloomberg already stated, I'm not in favor of providing taxpayer dollars of $1.5 million to a private business. The city's role is to make Highland Park an attractive place to do business, and using taxpayer dollars to subsidize a for-profit business is not an appropriate use of public funds, nor is it fair to our existing businesses or others seeking to locate here without a subsidy. I think that it's a slippery slope, and I don't know how we can say no to other businesses that request similar subsidies in the future. So I do welcome you and hope you will succeed, but I will be voting against this.
Thank you. Councilmember Ross and then Councilmember Hubler.
I applaud city staff for this economic incentive initiative. And although I know other municipalities are doing this too, I consider it a bold, innovative, and smart move on our city's part. I believe your great restaurant will attract more and more great restaurants as well. And I also enthusiastically support this grant. And I want to share also that as we vote on this grant, I very quietly brought my family to Danucci's in Lincoln Park last night as part of my due diligence and homework in order to experience it as a typical guest. They did not inform anyone that I would be eating there. I called Danucci around 4:45 p.m. because I couldn't find an open slot online, even though it was a Sunday night. They asked if we could do 5:30. I said, we'll take it. And we drove from Highland Park to Lincoln Park. We arrived on time. It was already hopping. Nearly every table was full despite the early hour. There were lots of responsive servers, which to me is one hallmark of great dining. We noticed a manager on site making sure everything was running smoothly. And I want to report that we thought everything we ordered tasted great. We were thrilled with our meal. So to Danucci's and Ballyhoo, I am delighted to have you here. Welcome to Highland Park. I assure you that Highland Park is hungry for this, and I think it'll be hard to get reservations, so to Highland Park residents, book early.
More comments.
Thank you.
Terrific. Councilmember Hubler.
Ballyhoo Restaurant Group is a top-notch restaurant group, and as you've heard here, we're very excited to have you in Highland Park and to frankly fill one of the empty storefronts we have in our business district. I think the public needs to know that we as a city are really just, we're doing what we have to do. We're keeping up with the Joneses effectively. 11 months ago, I believe, another Ballyhoo's restaurant was given $1.75 million to move to Glenview. And, you know, I think we took notice. And I think the people of Highland Park need to know that there's a reason we're doing this. And it's not because we're just throwing money around. This is what it takes to get a top-notch restaurant group to come to Highland Park and to get a space like this filled. So we're taking the leap and we're competing with other communities in the area, and we're making the investments in our downtown, which are required. They're not really optional. If you want to bring back the businesses to Highland Park, you have to invest, and that's what we're doing. And we also, just so the public knows, there are provisions in the ordinance. There's a clawback procedure. There's what a lot of people in the industry call a good guy clause. Those procedures there's policies are in place in there. So hopefully, at least for 10 years, we've got a great restaurant there, and hopefully 20, 30, 40 years down the line, you guys are still here. And excited to have you, and I'm excited to vote for this.
Thank you. Terrific. Thank you. With that, I'm seeking a motion to approve item 12.
Second.
Any comments from the public? I'm excited to vote on this. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Portman, come on up. Come on up to the,
I'm going to move those chairs over.
yeah, Peter, we're going to have to move the chairs a little bit.
Comment about the issue of using public funds for something like this, which, if you think about every state in our nation has an economic development board, if you will, which is using its money to attract businesses, and I don't see where this is any different. This is not a slippery slope, and that's all I want to say.
Awesome, thank you.
Welcome to the community.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any other public?
Mayor, I want to make sure that it's
Thank you. Agreement as amended, which you received earlier this afternoon. Right. Exactly. But it will be there tomorrow. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Hubler?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Littlewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Stone?
No.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
No.
Mayor Rotering?
Aye, 5 ayes, 2 nays. Welcome. Can't wait to see you open. Thank you so much for working with us. We do not have a closed session this evening, so with that, I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Damn.